I've come 100 miles out to sea to catch this deadly sea snake.
Yes! Look at that. Isn't that amazing?
But in order to get here, I had to start much closer to shore.
Oh, there we go. Come on.
In this video, I'll be catching dozens of unique animals.
Look at those teeth on that. The fastest fish in the entire world.
Moving further out into the middle of the ocean after each catch, starting at 5 miles offshore.
Before we head offshore, we need to get some live bait. As you can see here, I have completely empty bare hooks, but luckily at Zancudo Lodge, there are so many fish around that you can literally drop down bare hooks, and it's as automatic as that. How crazy is that? I mean, that's how good the fishing is here. And there comes 3. Instant. Oop, now 2.
Now that we've got our bait, it's time to start the search. And just seconds later, I hooked up to a crazy looking fish.
Fish on! Big fish too. Oh yeah. Good fish. Huh. Still there. It's just weight now. Weird. Let's see what this guy is. He's trying to pull down into the ground. Maybe a grouper or snapper. Oh yeah, one of my favorite fish in the whole world. Look at this guy. Big old Pargo. I told you that was a snapper. He was pulling straight down. He was not doing those heavy runs. So how awesome is that? Look at this. One of my absolute favorite fish in the entire world. Somewhere you do not want to put your fingers is in that mouth. I'll tell you what. That's a bad place to be. That's why they get the name dog snapper. Look at those teeth right there on that cubera. That is a menacing sucker. One finger in there and you're very sorry. There's a reason they call these guys snappers, because they'll snap up anything in their path. Insane inshore fishery. All right, I'll send him on his way. See you, buddy. Here's an interesting fact about those Pargo, and in fact about pretty much all fish, is red is the first color to disappear at depth. The sea ocean actually filters out the red light. So on the surface, that fish is a brilliant red color. He's amazing to look at. But believe it or not, underwater, that guy is a dull brown and blends in perfectly with the reef. He has unbelievable camouflage, but when he comes up here, he absolutely pops, which is just a really cool little tidbit.
And just as we were moving offshore, we caught one of the fish I was desperate to find.
There we go. Let's see what we got here. All right, look at that. Another species for today. Beautiful. One of the meanest fish in the ocean. We've caught 2 big biters in a row here. Everybody knows barracuda. Nothing unusual here. These guys make fantastic shark bait because they're oily, they're smelly. And on this side, on the Pacific side, they're actually really nice. Woo! Table fare. You can eat them. And they don't have ciguatera like they do in the Caribbean. But we're not going to eat this little guy. If we're going to keep a fish today, it's going to be something big, something really tasty, maybe later on. But look at how cool these Pacific barracuda are. Kind of crazy to think, if you look at the size of this barracuda we caught, look at the size of the bait that we caught it on. That blue runner is about the size of the head of this barracuda, and it just shows you how insanely aggressive these guys are. And if you think the cubera had teeth, just look at the mean mug on this guy. So don't want to keep them out too long. I think barracuda are so cool. They're like the missiles of the ocean. They're mean as anything. He would be a good eater, but if we're gonna eat something, it's gonna be something big. So let's send this guy back home. Here he goes, back into the ocean. See you, bud. Woo!
With inshore fishing being a success, I'm headed out further into the blue to our next spot. And you will never guess what we saw along the way.
Oh, look at this. Holy smokes, you wanna talk about crazy things to see offshore. This is insane. Look at this. Tiny, tiny little green sea turtle. Look at that. He was just hanging out in the weed mass here. He's perfectly alive. That is a fresh hatched baby sea turtle. It's one thing to find sea turtles hatching out of a nest. It's another thing to find them 20 miles offshore like this. Look at that. What are the odds of that? I mean, that is absolutely wild. You could still see his umbilical scars. That's how young he is. See that tiny little button right there? That's from where his umbilical would have been attached to the yolk sac in the sand. So I mean, this guy is literally like days old.
And just as we picked this little guy up, we noticed something that would have instantly ended his life.
Oh, right here, look at that, little Dorados. Wow. All right, so we've moved a little bit here from our green sea turtle. I think we literally just saved this guy's life because that school of Dorado was hanging out right where this guy was, and that's a perfect bite size. So we're gonna move him right over here, right where there's some weed that he can blend in, and let the little guy go. See you, buddy. Look, there he goes. Look at that, how cute is that? And you can see there, he's gonna head over there, he's gonna blend in with the sticks, and hopefully he doesn't get munched by a Dorado. What's really crazy is those guys' likelihood of survival, their chances of making it to adulthood are something like 1 in 1,000. So hopefully one day that guy grows up to be a big adult healthy sea turtle. But there he is, hidden back in the flotsam. Let's keep looking for more creatures. Look at all the bait here. There, watch. Here we go, he's gonna hit it, hit it. Big one too. Oh, sea snake right there too, holy sh**. Look at this is so cool. This is an animal, look, there he is right there. A creature I've wanted to see literally my entire life, yellow belly sea snake. I think I'm gonna jump in and catch him. Okay, so this is very, very exciting.
Going down deeper, hurry up. There,
I see him.
Going deeper.
Didn't get him. Still there, I can see him. He's just like 100 feet down. So really bummed. I dove in there and tried to scoop and he went in the net, but then bumped the net with his nose and shot back out because there's sort of such a shallow little net and not something I was expecting to catch. Now you grab onto that, it's a highly venomous sea snake, so he would have bitten me and I would be no more, so real bummer. So I've wanted to see one of those my whole life and I did get to see it, so that part's awesome, but didn't get to catch it, unfortunately.
We've already caught a crazy diverse amount of animals, but I'm still looking for a fish that's prized around the world, and the extremely rare venomous sea snake. So I kept heading offshore and came across an unbelievable sight.
Oh my God, this is so crazy. Check this out. So we just pulled up on this log and it's absolutely insane. Yellowfin just boiling like crazy. So we're taking some of our bait fish here and we're gonna feed them, if I can catch them, to these tuna. Watch this, ready? Boom! So there's a log out here that's congregated a ton of bait fish. And as you can see, the spotted dolphin are feeding on it, the frigate are feeding on it, and the yellowfin tuna are feeding like crazy on it. So I'm injuring these blue runner, the bait we caught earlier today, and throwing them in. And just watch, boom, look at that yellowfin just sitting right there.
With all this action, I quickly grabbed my spear gun in the hopes of getting a giant yellowfin tuna. But just as I hopped into the water, this feeding frenzy disappeared as quickly as it showed up. I dove deeper in the hopes of finding one of the giant tuna that were jumping just seconds before, but they were already long gone.
Absolutely awesome to be way out here in the deep where this underwater mountain comes up to 1,000 feet and all these fish congregate. I was hoping we'd run into a big game fish in the water, but all we saw were tons and tons of little football tuna, some rainbow runners.
Even though I wasn't able to get the giant fish I wanted here, I bet if I cast into one of the bait bowls, I'm sure to hook up quick. And thanks to the Zancudo Lodge fishing crew, finding another bait ball was not hard. And on my first cast, I hooked up in 3, 2, 1.
Oh, there we go! Come on! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Oh. Oh. We found some spotted dolphins, threw the popper in, literally 1 pop, 2 pops, boom, big blow up. Yellowfin tuna for sure, and it's starting to submarine, but luckily this rod has some backbone so we can give it some oomph. But yeah, we're definitely hooked up to a nice fish there. That was awesome. So we came out here, saw these spotted dolphin, and in Costa Rica in particular, in this area, the yellowfin travel with the dolphin, they co-feed. So what that means is the dolphin will round up the bait, or rather the tuna will round up the bait. Oh, big head shakes. And then the dolphin will come in and eat it. So threw this popper out, which is a loud, noisy surface lure, right in front of the dolphin. And sure enough, a tuna came in and assumed that it was a bait fish that a dolphin had chased around and absolutely smoked it. But feels like a pretty big fish too. So this is pretty awesome. It just shows you out here, we're not even that far out yet. There's a lot of life in the deep blue. There he is, nice fish. Ah, so look at this big, beautiful yellowfin tuna, one of the most incredible fish in the ocean, a fast-growing, as we all know, delicious species of tuna that I'm so thrilled to be catching. So it's sushi for dinner tonight, and this is just one of the amazing creatures that you can find here at Zancudo in Costa Rica. We're here to get as many good species as we can.
And although these fish are cool, I still have 2 species on my list that have evaded my search so far. So I'm headed even further into the deep sea in the hopes of finding these rare animals.
What we're doing now is we have a whole spreader rig. This is traditional Zancudo Lodge style deep sea fishing. So we got these outriggers running out here. We got our line spread out here. We got these teasers here, which simulate a school of bait fish or squid. And then if we raise a billfish, meaning we see a marlin or a sailfish come up behind these teasers, I'll run back here. I'll grab this pitch rod right here, which has a tiny little yellowfin tuna that we caught at the seamount, and I'm gonna throw that out in front of the teaser and try and get one of the billfish to hit it. So it can be high action, it can be high intensity, high adrenaline, but for now, it's a waiting game. I see him there.
Put a small bait, hurry up.
Come on, hit it. He's on, we're going, we're running. Yep, we're on, there we go, we're on. Okay. Woohoo! We are on, baby. How cool is that to have the sailfish come up behind the boat, chase this teaser, and then boom, big adrenaline as that sail comes right up, hits that bait right behind the teaser. That is so sick. One of you should get ready to hop in the water with the sailie. Taking line again. Oh, Tommy's doing it. There, he's gonna jump. See him there? There he is, jumping. So here we are, we're hooked up to the fastest fish in the ocean. Tommy's in the water filming it. We're kind of just winging it as we go here, but hopefully gonna be boating a beautiful sailfish. We won't be keeping this. Not something we wanna kill ever. Just such an incredibly cool animal. Look at that, here he comes. So look at this beautiful thing. We've got a sailfish here, the fastest fish in the entire world. Such a magnificent animal, and you can see where the name sailfish comes from, this big, beautiful sail. But I love these animals, I love billfish. It's not something we want to hurt, so we're gonna pull the hook out and let this guy go. But look at that, one of the most incredibly beautiful, unusual fish in the entire ocean. I'm so stoked. Let's get the hook out, guys. Okay. First sailfish I've caught in many, many years. Time to let him go. There we go. There he goes.
With a big storm coming in, I needed to move fast, or my chances of finding this deadly animal could be gone. And along the way, I stopped for an animal I did not expect to see.
So look at this, another crazy creature to have found way offshore. So this is a little porcupine puffer fish. So that's kind of cool. He's not even that stressed out because he hasn't puffed up all the way. You can see where the name porcupine puffer comes from. See all these porcupine-like spikes? And these guys will balloon up and get really, really big. And it's kind of sad because people will catch them and actually use them for like ornaments and decorations. Where's that bucket of water we had? Right here. So if we put him in here, we can swim around right there. But look at this, how cool is that? All of this life, these magnets of life offshore here where things are hanging out. Sea snakes, turtles, puffer fish, all kinds of incredible creatures are congregating under here.
The only thing we haven't seen is the toxic animal I'm about to find next.
This is really cool. He's one of several dozen of these pufferfish that we're seeing swimming around. We're getting all kinds of amazing life. All right, let's send this little ocean buddy back on his way. See you, pal. Back in the deep blue. There he goes. Bye.
With the storm on my tail, I'm headed back inshore for one final shot.
So we've had absolutely insane fishing this week here in Zancudo, but the one thing that's evaded me is, funnily enough, the thing that I want more than anything, which is to find a yellow belly sea snake. They're much, much faster than I thought they were gonna be, way faster than any other sea snake species I've ever encountered. So not sure if we're gonna get one, but seeing as it's our last afternoon, we're gonna give it a crack. We're gonna try really hard. Who knows, might be one out here somewhere.
And just a couple minutes later.
Snake, 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 go to neutral, 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 snake. Keep your eyes on the snake. Cal, right there. Yes! Come and get this, grab this, grab this. Grab this right here, Cal. Just grab the handle, watch out he doesn't come out. Yes! Yes! Woo! Look at that! Yellow belly sea snake. How freaking awesome is that? Get some water in the bucket. Yes, dude, yes! Oh my God, this is so cool. This is a species I have wanted to catch my entire life. Look at that, the yellow belly sea snake. How insanely beautiful is this creature? And you can see they're relatively useless on land because these animals are so perfectly designed for the sea that their bodies are kind of gelatinous when it comes to being on land. They have this insane counter shading, that yellow on the bottom and that black on the top, and that's used for a couple different things. One is aposematism. The bright yellow is used as a warning for predators to say, hey, I'm highly, highly toxic. But two is also that counter shading. So when a big fish or a shark looks up from below like a tiger shark, all they see is light colors from the sky and the sun, and that's what he has on his underside. And when a bird
looks down from the sky, all they see is the dark ocean. So it's actually an incredible camouflage. So what's so crazy is they have this flattened head and this highly toxic neurotoxin. And what's scary about these guys, the reason I'm being ultra cautious, is unlike almost any other snake, they strike to the side and envenomate with the side motion. And the number one way that people get bitten is actually handling them and oftentimes releasing them from fishing nets. But here in the Gulf, in this Costa Rican water, this is the hub for these species, and there's only around 30,000 or so individuals of this entire species. At least that's the population estimate. A true lifer, a species I have wanted to see my entire life that is just sort of limp like a noodle because they're so useless out of the water. And yet, as I say that, look at how kind of useless he is, and look at this. When we take this bucket of water right here, gently lift him up and put him in. Watch how agile he becomes. Look at that, isn't that amazing? The second you put him into the water, he can move around, he can cruise around. Oh my God, that is so crazy. An animal that is perfectly designed for the open ocean, and the second they end up on the deck, the second they end up on the beach, on shore, they're completely useless. And you can even see how well designed they are for the water, because look at this flattened paddle-like tail that they use to propel themselves and just shoot down into the depths where they go, whoa, look at that agility. That is amazing. Oh my goodness. Wow. That's what I mean about agile. That is incredible. Better be careful it doesn't land on me. Hey buddy, dream come true to catch a yellow belly sea snake here. So we're gonna send this guy back home, back into the deep sea where he's from. Come on buddy, just like I found you, there he goes, slithering off into the ocean. Look at that. Oh my God, it's one of the coolest creatures on planet Earth. That is insane. That's my favorite catch of the whole trip. He's taken off. We did it. Hope you guys love this video as much as I did. Like, comment, subscribe, let me know, and we'll do more adventures. Hopefully catch more sea snakes.